Welcome to Paranormal Heart Podcast with host Kat Ward. Welcome, my haunted hearts, to Paranormal Heart Podcast, paranormal talk with heart and soul. Tonight's segment is not live. Good grief, I have to get out of that. I've done back-to-back live episodes lately. It is pre-recorded on United Public Radio Network 107.7 New Orleans, 105.3 the Gulf Coast, YouTube, and any place you find your favorite podcast. I'm your host, Kat Ward. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Before we get to my guest, if you're looking for another great podcast, join my friends Justin Cancelleri and Eric Skurback on Paratruth Reborn. Explore the mysteries beyond the veil every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern on UPRN, YouTube, and any place you listen to podcasts. And tell them Kat sent you. So, folks, tonight we welcome back a dear friend, Sir Bryan M. Bowden. Bowden is a seasoned investigator and researcher known for his extensive work in ufology, high strangeness, and unexplained phenomena. With decades of experience, he brings sharp insight, first-hand encounters, and a no-nonsense approach to some of the most mysterious cases in the field. Bowden is widely respected for connecting patterns across paranormal, cryptid, and extraterrestrial activity, making him a powerful voice in today's anomalous research community. And if you know Bryan, you know he has a powerful voice. On this segment, Bowden will be discussing the cattle and human mutilation phenomena. Before we begin, a quick warning, though, that tonight's topic may contain sensitive and potentially disturbing material that some listeners may find unsettling. Listener discretion is strongly advised. And like I said before, listener discretion if Bryan Bowden is here. Hello.
Yeah, if I'm here, I know that I'm being pre-recorded, and right now, Al, the Big Ragu Santarig, is doing this. So it's good to hear about Eric and and Justin. Love those guys.
Yeah.
Great. I still want them to go back and when they were doing Paratruth, they did like this whole segment when they first started with like different like drink concoctions and they named them. I'm like, I think that's still genius. But I figured I don't get to go live because I don't know. I don't have my censor button on just yet. I can probably put that on for you just in case, just in case I want to drop up or whatever. Yeah. But, I appreciate you having me back. And eventually I'm going into season 2 of my show, Third Eye Live, and I have not overlooked you. It's just I'm trying to get new things here, not just I'm not just paranormal. Trying to do things to make people feel better about themselves, make their lives better. We have all been going through a ton of, and I'm censoring it because, broadcast live on 106. But it's good to be back here with you, Paranormal Heart.
It's good to have you back.
UPRN and everybody else. And it's been interesting. It's been a long moment or a long minute, right? Between, we kind of chat, everything, life goes on, right? Yeah. But God, I remember when you first started. I'm like, so what's a layer again? I'm like, okay, a layer.
Oh my God, yes, I know. My God,
your graphics are getting, amazing, and everything's great, and I'm so happy that you
Thanks
are.
To you.
Well, no, it's you. You're putting in the extra work, and you do. I don't know if you're still doing the book stuff with Bryan Anderson, Bryan Anderson, who I love, he's also another great guy.
He is.
And sometimes I wish we can go back in time because it was, even though it was crazy, it was still a little bit easier. There wasn't as much pressure on us these days, but I'm doing a lot more, what's good is I'm getting out. So I'm doing conferences, I'm presenting.
Awesome.
I presented this summer for the Crossing Realms conference in Missouri, Richmond, Missouri. It was freaking wonderful. A really great packed area. It was helping a historical society right next door. The woman that runs it is amazing. And, we were talking about, they're just helping them out, helping some other people out that needed some help. But what was really cool is, I met so many people that literally, and it blew me away, that came around the country and even from Canada, and they're like, I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, I can't believe I'm meeting you, and I'm like, I'm right here, because I was promising free hugs, but they said I came here to meet you specifically.
That's
I
awesome.
said, well, I thank you very much. So I wound up giving away shirts more than I sold my shirts.
Yeah.
But it's really nice. And when you resonate with people, like you have an audience and they resonate with your guests and what you do, it's just wonderful. And I appreciate everybody, especially because I don't think is it Thanksgiving, the same Thanksgiving, I think in Canada? No,
we already had ours. Yeah.
So it's just Thursday for you guys next week.
Yeah.
That's just Thursday. But, a lot of people don't stop to say thanks. They don't owe you anything. And I appreciate you asking me to be back on. Again, no one owes anybody anything. And I love when you get in some of these chats online and like, I'm trying to get you on the show, but I don't know if I'm like, just throw me some dates. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. So it's like, I'm fine with it. I mean, some of the shows are a little bit, some people are just, okay. But I do what I do. And I think I do it pretty well. I'm not doing it to be arrogant. But at the conference I was presenting, I came up with a theory through my research. I mean, decades of research. Al's like, I'm not buying it. That's Al. I'm not buying it.
Oh, I know.
But I don't care what Al's buying, but I came up with a theory that the Dogman, which we all know that bipedal, ginormous looking, could be a canine, it could be, a monkey, it could be, a hyena, and a variety of different things. There's too much of a similar connection. And I believe that the Bigfoots and Dogmen share the same. It's the same. It's a very, very much the same species. But the Bigfoot are the pure blood. And when they have something that is defective, deformed, like humans do it, they can't treat it. They push it out of the system and you're on your way. And then those creatures eventually find other creatures that are the misfits. They start to procreate, and then you start getting these 7 variants of something that they label Dogman. Again, none of us have a physical Bigfoot to benchmark this to, or Dogman, and does this hurt? Clink. We don't have that. At least I don't have it in Florida at this point.
I can just imagine it's hurting you, rips your arm off.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were talking a bit, and you said you've heard that around. Prior to me actually stating this, I've never heard anybody even utter it, because it's like 2 different camps. Like, no way, we have, even in the Bigfoot community, there's no, it's flesh and blood. No, it's woo, or more than that. So I'm not here to fight with anybody. I'm just going for my own research, and I did this whole presentation. If you look up defects in humanity, the similar defects take place in the Bigfoot and Dogman line. So it is very plausible, and nature has a way of, always looking to survive. So that's one of the ideas. But it was great. What was really cool was when we left there, we went to, after that conference was over, we went down to Emmaus, which is like an asylum in the middle of nowhere where your phone goes to SOS. And you're like, this is how all those movies start, Let's hide in that building with all the chainsaws. So I was just tired, but we happen to have across the street from it, and there's like a whole bunch, at least a quarter mile or more, of wild plants and stuff. So we were staying in a small Airbnb. There was a bunch of us, and it was Krista from Blondes and Booze, Natalie Searman, and Paul Anthony from Paranormal Among Us. We had Greg Ogles, who's the filmmaker. He's great, Greg. We have Bigfoot Michigan Rob, and BMR was sleeping on the sofa, and I was sleeping in this big leather chair upright because I was worried I was going to snore. And
I've heard about that.
Yeah, and he was snoring. Like I got to sleep because I don't normally drink, but he had some, he got some beers in town. And so I was drinking a couple of them. And when you stop drinking, it's like you're a schoolgirl. Like, I just had one beer. What about what's going on? So I got enough where I was easier to get into a sleep pattern. But by 1:30, it was just But what was interesting is when I woke up, we're sleeping in that living room area, and the doors to the left is a wall with a TV, and there's a window to the right. And my spidey senses kicked in, and I'm like, there's something in that window watching us. I just I kind of saw something quick because I went to get up, and it was super, super. But I have feeling we were being watched at one point. Mm-hmm. We did a tree knocks. We had responses between where we were staying and across the street. And the next day I had to leave because I was traveling back to Florida. I was driving. I wasn't flying. Oh. And Natalie and Paul went out to film a little bit, and no more than like 20, 30 yards from our cabin in the woods, they found a 16-inch Dogman print right about where the tree knock was.
Yeah.
So what most people don't realize is Dogman does very similar tree knocks and rock knocks as Bigfoot does. They all kind of mimic. So that was kind of interesting, to have that. But on the way back, when I was driving, I drove through the dirty South. I didn't want to. I wanted to get on a major roadway. So I drove through like Mississippi, and Alabama and into Georgia because I was staying in Georgia. And just before I got out of Alabama, eastern Alabama, into Georgia, I'm on a 2-lane road, a rural road, as opposed to a major highway. And it's just 2 lanes, one going, one coming. The side, there's no place to pull off. If you pull over to the side, you're going down at least a 15-foot, 30 degree, grade. So it was like, and if you get off the road, you can need a tow truck. So as I'm driving, I see this thing that flies in front of my car. It's super fast, but it was enough I'm always paying attention and alert. It sure as hell looked like a pterodactyl. No. It had the long beak on the front, the little on the back. It was weird. It was dark on the top, but you can see the top and the bottom. And the bottom was like a darker green into a black, but with these little spots, almost like a frog. Mm-hmm. And then what was really cool was the wings went out. And you know how wings usually, they have feathers at the end of it, like on a large bird of prey. Mm-hmm. This went into into that point. So it went from a thicker part of the body and then it tapered off into points. And I'm like, holy crap, I just saw a pterodactyl. And so I checked my camera. I'm still going through footage because it recorded every 3 minutes, but it doesn't mean in the time between it stops the recording and picks up again, even on a split second, it may not have caught it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go through and look. It was
Let's
super
hope it
fast.
did.
Yeah, I doubt it, but a lot of stuff in the paranormal is caught by dash cams. So those are really, really great. But you want to talk about some crazy stuff tonight, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard you on another show and you were talking a little bit about it, and I'm like, that's a good topic, and I asked you to come on, and thank you for accepting.
My pleasure. We're family. So I'm going to come on. Yes. So the Butch Witowski used to be an investigator at a PA. He was a law enforcement. Great guy, Butch. No nonsense, fun.
Yeah.
He's a sweetheart, but he's tough as nails. Old guy. He passed away a couple of years ago.
I know, it was sad.
And him and I used to I get on the phone with him, and he's one of those guys. We just start throwing things out, and everybody talks about the cattle mutilations that we've seen. We've seen them in Skinwalker Ranch, where the cows are like part of their face is surgically removed, an eyeball, a lot of the sex organs, and and some of the meat, and there's no blood anywhere, no track marks, and on top of that, most animals, like birds of prey or whatever, that would literally eat roadkill and They avoid this thing like the plague. So we've had cows like that and sheep and some others. So it's the cattle mutilations. But around the same time, we continue to have it even till today. There's also human mutilations, and nobody, only Butch and I were the only ones who ever talked about it. No one's ever talked about it publicly on a TV show or anything until yours truly did it. I did it for.
That's the first time I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was filming for UFO Witness season 2, and the specific episode is season 2, episode 2. I'm at the tail end of it, but I remember sitting there, and they rented me a whole lake house for a week, and I was like,
nice.
"Oh, this is cool." I'm like, "So who else is staying here?" I'm like, no, that's all yours. We're going to use it as a staging area, and then you just stay here. And I'm like, you're
nice.
kidding me, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to call Al. I'm like, get some amps, get a keg, let's go. You know, whatever. So it was beautiful there, but I was being interviewed in the scene by Miss Melissa Title. She's from Gaia and some other, programs. Melissa's great. She's a wonderful human being. And we had a young director, producer there. And so it's Melissa and I opposite. It actually was about Bantam Lake and an event that took place at Bantam Lake, a UFO encounter there and some stuff. So when we're sitting there, we film, and I do things really quick. Everybody loves to work with me because they just get it done. I know what they want. Boom, 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 done. And so the producer goes, he's behind me. He goes, wait a minute, I want to go dark with this. I want to get darker. So I stopped and I turned around. Melissa's facing him, and I turn around and I go, well, how dark do you want to go? And he's like, well, what are you talking about? And I said, well, we've all heard of cattle mutilations, in relation to UFOs. And he's like, yeah. I said, what about the human mutilations? You ever hear about those? And he was like, yes. So I scared the crap out of Melissa that day. And actually, it's funny if you watch the video, I don't think she was prepared for what she heard.
Oh, no.
But again, so this is how it works. So what happens is the following. I thoroughly believe extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings, things that fly and come and go like the wind, are responsible for all these cattle mutilations. There's a delicacy to some of the organ meat parts and some, the lips and this and that and what have you. And they love those. And that's fine. Even in our culture, organ meat is usually great. They used to make brats with it, or, they'll grind it up. It has a lot more protein, a lot more energy. But what you don't realize is that we, in our black budget, area, the reverse engineering, the Area 51s, the new Area 51s, all these, right, Patterson. When we're not only reverse engineering the extraterrestrial technology to replicate it, but we are also doing what they do, and we are creating clones. Now, when you see the little gray aliens, the small ones that usually are there to pick you up, those are worker bees. They're clones. Their intelligence, because I know a few people that have had interactions with military and their abductions and so on and so forth. Their intelligence is about an 80 on the IQ scale, intelligent quotient scale. They're not bright. You tell them to do something, they do it. They're drones. It's like, go there, pick that up, go do that. But they have certain abilities where they can go through different types of materials because they know how to adjust their biology and biochemistry and atomic makeup to resonate with whatever materials they come through. That's why when they walk through walls, most extraterrestrials can do it. They're not going to be locked out of a room. There's ways of them getting through. Okay. So this is what the worker bees do. Matter of fact, most of the crashes that we have all over the world are because we have, pardon the expression, idiots driving these craft, these worker bees, and they're not that bright. Okay. It's like a really bad Uber. It's just not a good thing. So what happens is we reverse engineer our craft, but we also make clones. And the government has been doing abductions on humans just as much as extraterrestrials in different variety of species or races. Now, I believe from my research, my interviewing with experiences, my own experiencing, whatever, my interactions, some remote viewing, a whole bunch of different things, and talking to other people. When I used to talk to a gentleman, I'm just going to call him Derek. He's been had multiple abductions, multiple different extraterrestrials, as well as the military. They come in the craft. It's the same scenario. They come in with a UFO. They beam in. They take you, and then whatever they use you for, they use you for. So he's even saying, we were talking about this. So about 2015, we kind of figured out that at that point, you're looking at probably about 200 different species of extraterrestrial existing that we were aware of in our planet. 200 different species. Okay, it's probably doubled. Yeah, it's probably doubled by now. We have species that look like Ewoks, Chewbacca, Bigfoot, werewolves, you name it, light beings, half and halves. I mean, it gets really crazy what each one of these things can do, and besides the draconians, the reptilians, and whatever. So what happens is every once in a while, the grays, the clones, they go off the ranch and they have a taste of human flesh. There is a lot of species that think we taste delicious. Remember the show V?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, consider that somewhat of a documentary. They're not kidding.
No.
There are species that love the taste of humans. Everything that walks, talks, and moves is food to something or someone, right? So these extraterrestrials, though, when they leave and they go off the ranch and they we're going to go get the car washed, whatever. I don't even know how they do it. All hell breaks loose, and then they usually track them down. But part of that process is they take and they do human mutilations, just like everything else. They'll, cut out surgically the genitals. They'll drain the blood. They'll take the eye socket. And this is what they do. And they don't eat like this. They don't put stuff in their mouths like, here's my mint, They don't do that. What they do is they take it and they rub it on their skin. And their skin has pores on it, and they open up and they get it. That's how they consume.
So they absorb it.
Yeah, they absorb it. And it mixes in with their biology and their DNA or whatever they have there. And then that's how it gets absorbed into the system. But for some reason, there's a good taste to it. Now, on top of that, you also there's a specific taste based on blood type as well. So, but there are also blood types like, wow, that tastes good, but we're compatible with it. We don't want to do anything with it. So they usually go for specific blood types as well to pull for biological reasons as well as for consumption reasons as well. And part of their process is they're the last of their races. They use us to do a science project where they mate with us. So I'm going to go back into science class. It was usually this 4 squares, right? Top, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. And it's alien to human. And when you mate, there's 4 outcomes. There's human alien, where it's more human than alien. Another outcome is alien human, where it's more alien than human. Then you get human alien. So if you breed properly and you get the alien side, then you can continue your race with just alien. Okay. And then the rest of them, and this has been discussed with my friend Butch and I. We discussed it because I've gotten some information from other people who have witnessed a lot of people disappear and they don't come back, and they are sent into the grinders. And this is not this. You picked a subject matter that's
I know. Yep.
It's really, really, hard for people. Like, most people are gonna be like, that guy's crazy, and I'm like, I wish I was. But this is why things get done. One of their favorite blood types, the reptilians love O's, whether you're positive or negative. Most extraterrestrial like O, positive, negative, because of the universality to the blood type. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more power to that. They're usually higher up on certain things, and it works out well in everybody's favor. So they're not really consumed, but the reptilians will take O's in and then use them like slaves, because they're smart enough to do things, whereas some of the other blood types aren't as bright to do it. And that's where I was, again, Butch was doing a show with Lon Strickler, and they're talking about RH negative, and I was in the audience, and I'm like, it's not the RH that matters. It's the blood type. And, Lon Strickler, the way he talks, doing my Lon Strickler. He was like, well, I don't know about, Butch is like, well, I kind of agree with my colleague, Bryan Bowden. And because we've had this conversation before, and we've gone through all the possibilities with it. And then we interview people that had been abducted, and the ones that, some that have been regression. I don't like the regression ones as much as the ones that slowly their memory and recollection comes back to them, because their constitution has risen to a level that they could understand what's going on and their purpose. Some people, like, you take them on a craft and they're reptilians there. I'm like, these are your children. They're going to be like, get me the hell out of here. They're not going to be able to take contact.
Yeah.
So basically, when we're talking about cattle mutilations in human mutilations, same process, same food type of concept, but they cover up the human mutilations quickly, because that's the really scary part of ET contact. And that's why, that's what it is. I actually think Dovlov Pass in Russia, those kids.
Yep.
I think it was a case of them being eaten by some form of extraterrestrial, or being, because there's certain characteristics to the missing body parts, and it matches human mutilations. It just preserves it better in like that temperature. Yeah. Versus like, you go into Texas and like, damn it, we found this, they were missing their genitals and, that type of stuff. So.
Yeah, it's been stored in the freezer. So.
Yeah, it's right place, wrong time, or right place, right time. I mean, depending on your perspective, it's like, hey, let's stop over here. We'll pick up some. Oh, look, people, and you just pick them up. But it gets into a really, people fantasize about some of this stuff way too much. They think it's Star Trek.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't believe. I am one of the few. I'm not stopping you from believing what you want to believe in, but I do not believe in a galactic federation. I do not. I don't believe there are like 20, 30 different species, some with tentacles, whatever, and they sit around a big table and they're like, oh, these humans, they have so much potential. We really need to do something before we do this. Who wants Chinese? I don't, Italian. Okay. I just don't see them doing it. And I think sometimes what happens is people get on kicks, something resonates, or they want to be part of a crowd or something, and they jump on certain things, and then they'll talk about the Galactic Federation. And I don't believe in it. I just don't. I have not had an experience with anything, be missing time or encounters that leads me to believe that. I haven't had it in real life, like we're talking right now, in when I'm at rest and I'm, recharging up to source, going back to the Akash record, doing my upload, getting my downloads, having those dreams or experiences, two separate things that take place. But that's their cross to bear, and that's how we get cults. I was dealing with someone the other day from a cult.
No way.
Yeah. And I mean, I used to, again, you're going to have a lot of people that love this man, Stephen Greer. I do not trust him. And I don't, there's some obvious stuff for me personally. It's all about money with him. We tried to get him on our show at one point, and he gave me like a 25-page document of questions. What are you going to do for Dr. Greer? How much is Dr. Greer going to get paid? I'm like, I'm not getting paid. He's not getting paid. Right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, but the people that follow him are spending, at one point, they were spending $400 or $500 for an app, or the, to put the CE5. Yeah. To do a CD5, Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind. Yeah. Which had been mentioned prior to Stephen Greer co-opting that, but it was mentioned if you look through Project Blue Book and with the CE protocols. It was mentioned. It wasn't laid out because we weren't thinking that far ahead for stuff, but he's not the one that, I don't care what anybody says. And people that follow him are very, they're adamant. It's like, well, Dr. Greer, and I'm like, Dr. Greer is working for the CIA or something. You can't be a doctor and brief presidents, unless you're part of the company, we'll just say. But the other person is someone, I just had him on. I've had an interaction with him years ago, and totally out there. But he's a Billy Meyer cultist. Billy Meyer out of Germany and whatever. And Billy predicted this and that, and all. I'm like, okay, whatever. But it was like cult mentality. And Billy has real proof. If you want to really show me some proof, show me real evidence. Well, Billy has evidence. He has published books that are copyrighted where he predicted X, Y, and Z. Not really. He threw some stones, you throw a couple of balls in the air, a couple are going to stick, and then all of a sudden magic, right? And I was being very cordial to the gentleman that I'm not going to mention his name either. And I was saying, you can't discredit anybody else's opinion and say it's not evidence. But when someone else, like Brian Singh is a friend of mine, he did the Disclosure Movement conference in Florida last year. And Brian was like, we have proof. And he was holding up these old stones. And another thing he has, and I've seen this before myself, when you have a person, let's say in Sydney, Australia, they're having an experience with Alien X, and then they say something to you about it, but they have no knowledge of person B, who's also telling you the same damn thing about Alien X, but those two aren't crossing streams. That is somewhat of a proof that something's going on. So as an investigator myself, I don't fall into one camp or the other. I thoroughly believe Bigfoot is both flesh and blood and can go into different interdimensional. So it changes, and it's an innate ability. I've seen it. That's why I'm going for that. From that, I'm not just, pulling it out of thin air. But that opens up a whole bunch of other hypotheses. I have, every time we answer a question, we probably get 3 more. So we're never really at that point. But But the person that was part of the representation of Billy Meyer, he's just, he's very arrogant. He was super condescending to me. Well, if you really want to learn how to do it, I can teach you. I'm like, I'm doing this for 45 years. I don't want you going anywhere near me. You are his parrot, and you are literally like 2 steps away from selling roses at an airport. You're in a cult. I mean, the man thinks Billy Meyer is Jesus. So it's just, there's a lot of people in here that have issues, and they're not looking at it in any form of a logical approach, but there's a romanticism to the subject matter, and that's not the way you should go. Don't go around life with rose-colored glasses. It's a lot more scary than you think. I think I talk too much. I apologize.
No, it's so funny how I get a lot of guests who are talkers, and they're like, I am so sorry if I just gab too much. I'm like, no, I mean, that's what you want. You don't, if your guest, if you can't get any information from your guest, then,
Well, I usually get I'll get somebody that's new or whatever, and they'll ask me this one question. And we go on a rabbit, it's like, welcome to the rabbit hole tour guide. I'm your guide. And I go boom, 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 boom. And and they usually go, well, that answered 25 of my questions that I never got to ask you. Yeah. Because again, there is a lot of interconnectivity to the subject matter. It's not static. There's things, there's a Rosetta Stone that passes through all of it. A universality to the subject, and you can put it in different areas of the subject and go, oh, okay. One of the coolest things in the world is, I don't know if you ever watch Down the Rabbit Hole. No. David puts those out. It's he has the best damn videos out there. He's amazing. And we were co-hosting a show for someone that's also on UPRN that's coming up. I'm not going to mention names, but I bet you they're part of the country. And when we were going back and forth, I'm just trying to remember his name on here. It's David and Into the Rabbit Hole. Down the Rabbit Hole. That's his podcast. It's one of his podcasts. And he listened to me on another show, and I was talking about black-eyed kids and interdimensional beings. And he goes, dude, I caught you on the show talking about that, and you blew my mind. And you were like so spot on about it. I was like, he goes, every time I talk about it, I always credit you. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. But
nice.
It's not, I appreciate it. I'm not a know-it-all like somebody else, like Al Santarega, so, but no, he's going to kill me too. I'm going to get killed by many people. Yeah, he's going to me up.
Too funny.
But yeah, so it's just, I have a lot of stuff. I've been writing, I'm supposed to do a book with Ron, and I'm almost finished. It's just life throws you some stuff. But I also have my own, I'm writing about Bigfoot. I'm writing about Dogman. I'm writing about some other stuff. I really don't like creepy crawlers, otherwise known as rakes. Oh God, I don't like those cryptids.
Yeah, they're kind of creepy.
Yeah, they're actually aggressive and dangerous and something. Okay, so we were talking about this before, and I was like, if you have Bigfoot on your property, if you have Bigfoot in an area, you also have Dogman. And usually there's a separation, some kind of mountain, a river, or something that separates both the sides. And it's usually like you keep your ass on your side of the fence, and we'll keep our ass on ours. And the Dogman always press the Bigfoot. So there's usually conflict. But if you have Dogman, you're also going to have rakes. or creepy
Really?
crawlers. Yes.
Why is that?
Well, dogmen are a bit more aggressive,
Oh, yeah.
and in their hunting tactics, they don't just go for deer. If they're near cattle,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to take cattle, and they get blamed for a lot of this stuff. So the rakes will. They're smart. They know that these things are going to get blamed for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over there and we're going to kill the cattle, and we're going to be fine, and they're going to get blamed for it. And they mutilate cattle. There's a great story told many, many years ago. I'm going to paraphrase it. Farmer has property. He has prize cattle on his property, sheep, goats, cows, whatever, and bulls and what have you. Big piece of property. He also knows there are dogmen. He sees dogmen at one end, at the back end of the property. So he knows they're there, and he kind of keeps his eye on them. And what starts happening is his cattle starts getting killed and ripped to shreds. Mm. So the farmer's like, I'm gonna go take out those dogmen. Those dogmen are up to it, whatever. So one night when he's searching the property because he heard some noise there, he's approached by several dogmen, and they're like, with their hands up, knowing, don't shoot us. We didn't do this. We didn't do any of it. You have rakes on your property. It wasn't us. And it turned out he saw rakes on the property over time. It was like, oh my God. So there is a big difference. Rakes are the creatures kind of look like human beings in latex. You don't really see the eye. It's almost like a piece of skin on top of their bodies, and sometimes the mouths open up. They have elongated arms. They walk funny, and sometimes they come down like Edward Scissorhand. I always, the Scissorhand like point.
Yep.
And they're really quick. They're interdimensional. They will come through portals. They will come through other different layers into our dimension, and they love it here because humans are good and tasty. Besides the cattle, but something else they love about us is they want our flesh. They want it. They need our skin. And I don't know if it's used yet to regenerate other skin or to put different layers on there, or it's like I don't use this. It's a bad analogy because people like. Next time they start eating one of these, they're gonna be like, "Damn it, it's a rake." It's like a baked potato, right? Everybody thinks, when you're growing up, oh, it's so yummy the inside, right? It's soft, and like most kids would not eat the skin of a baked potato. If you covered it in chocolate, they would be like, "No." Yep. But all the nutritional value in the potato is in the skin. Same thing with humans. There is a lot of nutritional value in our skin. So yeah, they want our skin, and they're very aggressive. They'll run at you. They'll charge you. They will stop by your door, and they start raking the window. And then when you see it, you're like, the fear kicks in, which they love that adrenaline rush too. That produces some kind of enzymes within the human body, which enhances the flavor. They try to draw you out, and when if you follow them, you're done. One of my friends is Tex Wesson from Texas Front Porch. He's out of Texas. Great guy. He had someone on that had family property for years, and how crazy it is there. And there's a little burial mound, an Indian burial mound, and some weird finds and some cryptids and stuff. And this friend of his was telling a story, and this was just maybe a month ago, when he was like 13. I mean, he goes, I used to we lived in that property, and I used to have this thing come to the window and scraping at it to get my attention, and I'd see it, and it's like a dark gray, and you can't even see the eyes, and it did have like a little slit in the mouth, and it would sit, talk to me and come, because they can communicate both vocally as well as telepathically, and it scared the hell out of him. And of course, his parents don't believe him. It is what it is. But when it was his, I think, 13th birthday, he said, and there it is. And he's like, I'm done with this. I don't want to live in fear. His dad kept a loaded Mini 14, couple hundred rounds in it. Nice gun to have in the house. You're in the woods. You need some protection. Mm-hmm. He took that thing. He went out, and he said that he felt like this thing got excited that he was coming outside. Because once you get out of the home area into the outside, now you're on their area. Bless you.
Thank you.
And no problem. No need for no manners. So he comes outside the house and he turns. It's all one level, and he turns to where his window is. There it is, and he opens fire on this thing, point blank, dead. Putting a couple hundred rounds in it, and it starts running away. And he says there was this liquid that was coming out like blood, but it was black, like oil. So he unleashes like a couple hundred rounds at like the 1 a.m. Dad comes out. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
So Dad's pissed. Like, that's not for you to touch, type of thing. Mm-hmm. And he explains what happened. And he goes, Dad, I'm telling you, I see it. I it's down there. I did it. And he saw it. He saw this thing dead, like 100 yards away. So there was a trail of this black goopy stuff. They followed the trail, but the thing got up and it took off. And he didn't get it. Wow. So trying to figure out how to take this thing out is a totally different subject matter,
You sound really, really tough.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't want to, you don't want to play with fire type of thing. It's just, it gets crazy that way. And it's, it's one of those, I don't want to play with things that are dangerous as well. So it works out, kind of, sort of. There's certain things, like I told you in the beginning, like I had conversations with Al, because I do a lot of stuff with Al, but I've investigated from Canada all the way down into Mexico on the East Seaboard. I moved to the Midwest a bit. Everywhere I go, I've done it in Las Vegas, California, even Hawaii. Sorry, all my friends are like, it's not Hawaii. It's I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just a stupid guy. Okay, whatever it is. But
you're a funny
certain
guy.
places don't have much. But there's no Bigfoots that I know of in the Hawaiian Islands whatsoever, or mostly in the Pacific. There's none of these creatures there.
I wonder
they
why.
have spirits, because I think a lot of the volcanoes there are creating new. There is no platform for them to go to. It's water. So if there's nothing there, and everybody knows there's nothing there, they're not going to go.
So they wouldn't put on a trench coat, hat, and sunglasses and hitch a ride on a boat.
Do you think they'll? No, I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting it. So I'm investigating. Now I'm trying to get out to. I just did something when I drove my daughter from the East Coast to the West Coast of Florida. I've gone to some very big Bigfoot areas, and I purposely take some of the side roads, because the best equipment you can have for a Bigfoot to capture one is your dash camera.
Really?
Yes, really.
Well, I guess it's on.
It just works really, really well, And it's, one of those things where they can't see the infrared at that point. Bigfoot can see infrared. It has 3 different tapias. So depending on daylight, dusky, and then the dark. That's why it sees in the dark. And here's a great example. Everybody had those baby voyeur monitors, like monitoring your kid. And then they get really freaky when they start talking something in the, what the hell's in the room?
Yeah.
Get out. You want to play with me? You know, it gets a little weird, but it's pitch black. If I go in that room and I'm like, it's pitch black, but if I'm looking at the monitor, there's light there. That's the ultraviolet spectrum, UV, and it's it's the red on your camera. It's the night vision thing. They see that. Dogs see it. So if you had a camera and you wouldn't even need the flash because the camera would pick up the UV light. So the only way, so when they see those, all these people like, I'm going to put a trail camera up here, Bob and Joe, Jane Hick, which I live in the dirty South, we're going to use some trail cameras, try to catch this Sasquatch. I'm like, you're not going to catch them. They're smarter than that. They know what cameras are.
Yeah.
Not only do they see the UV, but they can see the energy field around the battery and the electronics because they operate in a totally different spectrum than all of us. But the way to do it is to have cameras with UV or infrared properties to it that can absorb the light, like a psionics night vision camera, which somehow gathers the light spectrum in, or true night vision. We were playing with my buddy Stevie Strings. He's Creature Man research team, filmmaker. He's on the west coast of Florida, and I'm part of that group now. And he's got the coolest camera ever. It's better than any FLIR I ever see.
Really?
You can see over a mile, crystal freaking clear. Records audio and video. And
that must be a pretty penny.
Well, it was about $3,200, and it's a different manufacturer. Actually, I don't really like FLIR personally. There are other optics that are much better than that, and I would love to buy one, but I can't justify it at this point.
Yeah.
And that's why I need my own TV show, so I can say we need a $70,000 FLIR drone.
Done.
Yeah, we need two of them. Cat needs one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, done, because they can pay for it. I mean, eventually, I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to save up for something like that, and I'm going to buy one. Because you can use it for everything. You can use it for UFOs. You can use it for cryptids. You can use it for ghosts. It's just gorgeous, the capability, and it's amazing. I forgot the brand that he uses, but if you go to opticsplanet.com, I believe, they sell a variety of optics. They have really good prices there. I don't know if they can ship some of this even to Canada because there's certain import and export restrictions due to militarily technology, which is on the border. What's very interesting, Ben Hansen from all these shows, he has an optics company. He does stuff for the government. He has his own optics company and has FLIR and first, second, third, fourth generation of night vision, which is amazing. I have a camera here someplace. I bought a Sony. I want the A7A, I think it was, but I bought like the 6, which was like $4,000 less than that one. It was under,
nice.
Way under $1,000.
Yep.
But again, this is what I do. This is what I love. And I love getting into situations. I'm doing another conference, actually. I will tell everybody. January 31st, I will be in. I'm going to do a presentation actually on UFOs and extraterrestrials, just showing some of my old footage of what I have. But I'm doing this because Greg Ogles, who is the independent filmmaker, he's having a conference, and it's January 31st. It's presents The Vanished. It's his movie. It's going to be the premiere for that, but he's also doing a Paracon. And what's really cool about it is it's it's like $17.75 to get in US. So I think in Canada,
That's
what would that be
really
like? That would be under 30, right? It'd be like
$300. No.
Well, if you convert it out, yeah. But if you're a military veteran, or active or veteran, you pay $5. So,
wow.
Yeah, and kids under 12 are free. But it's taking place in Alabama, and let me just find the actual name. I had it because it was open, and I'll tell you where it is in the conference. But it's going to be great. There's going to be Natalie Smearman's going to be there. There's a lot of people that you know and love in a variety of different communities. But this is going to be at the Gardendale Civic Center, 857 Main Street, Gardendale, Alabama, 35071. Tickets are available at Eventbrite. And It's the premiere of The Vanished, his movie. If you want to see something free, do you have Tubi up in Canada?
I do, yep.
So you should look up another great movie of his, The Legend of Downey Booger. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make your life easier. I'm going to put all this junk in our little chat. And then you can do whatever the heck you want with it, lady. Yeah. And Greg is just a wonderful person. You may want to even try to contact him. He was just on our my show, Third Eye Live, which is every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. And on YouTube. So if you go to the @ of my name and Bryan Bowden, I do it on my channel. I'm not doing it on other people's channels anymore, or having like 15 different channels, because I'm tired of maintaining all those channels.
Yeah. I can totally understand that. Yeah.
It's like, your Paranormal Heart, but and you started off Paranormal Heart as Paranormal Heart, so it worked out even easier. Remember, I did Inside the Goblin Universe. I did Beyond the Realm. I did Nobo Boomy. I was on the Three Beards.
I love the word of that one. Nobo Boomy.
Nobo Boomy.
I love that.
Still love it.
Yeah.
Nobo Boomy. It was a great ad. And Kat used to run for Nobo Boomy. I did an advertisement where secrets in our life. Oh, and then all of a sudden you hear, and I'm like, wait a minute, did you fart on the promo?
That was amazing.
It's a great ad. It was a great ad. Get out of here. And at the end of it, I'm like, someone get me Brian Anderson.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah. I only had one person tell me that they didn't want to listen to my show anymore because anybody talking about flatulence, and just like, it was hilarious. I loved it.
You know what? It's super funny. That's why, like, I know it's your show, but I started off last night's show because I have Mark Eddy as a co-host.
Yep.
And get in touch with Mark. He really gets some great guests, so he can get you some stuff too.
Okay.
Wonderful guy. He plays the straight card, but we do some fun stuff. We do little gags in here. And Greg was on. Greg's a gag. He's freaking hysterical. And I'm sitting there, and my music goes off because I have a song from Andy McGrath is my first song. And then my second song is my Bryan Bowden entrance music, my rap. And it starts off, I'm a mother unicorn, a 101, whatever. So everybody's now going unicorn song, which is great. Because I was toying with it, and I did put the censor in there. But so when it started, I was like, I got to start off a little bit. I need some comedy. So I'm just nonchalant, and I'm like, well, we're live. The music stops, and I'm not even paying attention to the camera. And I'm like, well, you should be thankful it's only just a couple of penicillin shots. What did I tell you about going to truck stops and meeting women? And I'm like, oh my God, we're live. Okay, hey everybody. Yeah.
No.
Let me tell you something. I want to have fun in the process of doing my show. Who wants to sit there and listen to Masterpiece Theater? And yes, I can be serious. And people always said, like, are you ever serious? And I said, oh, I'm serious. But if you ever see me really serious, we're all in a lot of trouble. Like, this world's going to blow up. Like, that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
So you want to have comical Bryan and do certain things. Like, I did an advertisement of me and Mark for, Third Eye Live. Mm-hmm. And I went now with 100% pumpkin spice lap dances.
That's one of the things I love about you, your humor. You're so freaking funny.
Yeah, and I just put up, like, I found this woman who's beautiful wearing like a bikini top, whatever. And I took Mark's head and I shrunk it and put it in like in between the boobs and whatever, all over these different places. And I said, find Mark. Where's Mark? And while you're looking, check out the show. Because I was if someone said there's 4 of them and they circled them and sent it to me, I would give them a t-shirt.
Nice.
See, you got to think outside the box. We can't just all go, oh, this is Paranormal Heart, and I am Cat Ward. God bless you all. You have no idea what Cat Ward's like after the show's over. She goes in, she gets the Watney's Red Barrel going and the big mug, and she drinks about a pint of that before going to the special closet. Yeah. So I always joke with you, but I love you. So, and I do this. I'm sure. Al always talks really nonchalant when he's talking. That's how he talks. And he's, we're doing the prayers, but we sage and prayer our equipment and ourselves before we go into investigation afterwards.
Yep.
And like clockwork, he puts in the name of the Father, on my, and I'm like, burns. And he's like, are you ever serious? Yeah,
you guys got to go on a road with a skit.
Yeah, I think so. But I think everything's going to be good, though. I'll shut up now, and you can ask me any questions with whatever time you have left.
Actually, we're done.
I don't think you don't have any time left.
No, it's funny because I did have a list of questions, and as you're talking, I'm like, nope, he answered that one. Nope, he answered.
All the time.
Yep.
All the time, Kat.
Well, what you could do for us is tell the audience where they can find you.
You can find me on Third Eye Live, which is on the @Bryan Bowden's YouTube channel. You can find me in Facebook jail. I'm on social media. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram as Third Eye Live, as well as Bryan M. Bowden. And look for Bryan Bowden, Bryan M. Bowden. I'm on TikTok. I'm up to like 9 accounts now because they keep banning whatever I put up. I'm anywhere, but and also on Facebook. If you have questions for me, or you want to comment, or just give me a hard time, I don't care. Just say, hey, I saw you on Paranormal Heart, and you were blah 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 with us, or I want to ask you about that. I do readings for people. I do schedule time. I am doing readings, and that's it. That's how you can reach me. I will have links in the show notes as well, so it'll be easier for the audience to find you. You can go to my link tree. It'll probably be in the show notes. Okay, for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you so very much, Bryan. I can't believe an hour went by already. Well, this is how we roll in this world, and I kind of follow the philosophy of Galaxy Quest. One of my favorite movies now. It's been an hour. Yes. Michelle's gonna have to speed this one up or slow it down. One of them. Yeah, right. Sorry, Michelle. Well, thanks again. If you have a couple of minutes to chat afterwards, I'll say my farewell to the audience. Yeah. Bye. Okay. We'll see you in a minute. So a huge thank you to my special guest, Bryan Bowden, tonight, and to you, my wonderful audience, for tuning in. I also want to thank UPRN 107.7 New Orleans and 105.3 the Gulf Coast for carrying the show. And if you enjoyed tonight's episode, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. It truly does mean the world to me. And if you'd like a little piece of Paranormal Heart to call your own, you can grab some podcast swag, like this mug. Again, if you're watching the video, you get to see what the mug looks like.
So just email me at paranormalheart13@gmail.com. Until we meet again, take care of yourselves and each other. Sending you all much love.